I have done my BTech in mechanical engineering from IIT Bombay. After that, I worked for 1 year in a consulting firm and then did a fellowship with the government of Haryana. And since then, I have been preparing for civil services.
Okay. You have worked in Gurgaon and then Sonipat.
Yes, sir.
Both NCR regions. In Gurgaon with the higher wages, higher emoluments, and after that Sonipat with the lower emoluments. Why you changed the job with the lower emoluments?
Yes, sir. So for changing the job, money was not a consideration. I basically wanted to explore how government functions and what is the work related to in the development industry. So for the exposure, I did that fellowship.
Okay. And you live in LIC flats or LIG flats?
Sir, LIC. My father works in LIC. So I live with the parents.
Okay. You are Pranav Vijayvergiya.
Yes, sir.
So at the moment, a big personality is also there, Mr. Vijayvergiya.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, Mr. Kailash Vijayvergiya.
Yeah.
So he's the General Secretary of Bharatiya Janata Party.
And
he's a politician.
Okay, good. Yeah, mechanical engineering, and you help mother to cook dinner.
Yes, sir.
Is it a hobby or it is just a helping hand only?
Sir, it's a kind of a mix of these two. It just allows me some time to spend with my mother. So gradually, I have started picking up interest in that. But I take it as a socializing activity with my mother in the kitchen.
Yeah, just to break the monotony.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, which both Sonipat and Gurgaon both are part of NCR. Which one is better, and in what characteristic is better?
Sir, my personal understanding of Sonipat and Gurgaon is that Gurgaon is much more urban, and Sonipat has a lot of rural districts. So the maximum number of population in Sonipat resides in villages. They are rural, associated with agriculture. But Gurgaon has a lot of cosmopolitan population and urban population. So it specializes in services, manufacturing, those kind of industries.
You belong to Rajasthan?
Yes, sir. Jaipur.
Yeah. And your mother belongs to?
Sir, Kota.
Which
that
one?
Is also in Rajasthan. Kota.
Kota. Swai Madhopur? No.
Savai Madhopur, my father belongs from Savai Madhopur.
Okay.
And
That's
yes, sir.
Yes. Now Swai Madhopur is what for it is famous?
So Savai Madhopur is famous for its Ranthambore National Park and the tiger reserve. So it has the maximum number of tiger population in whole of Rajasthan.
Tiger.
Yes, sir.
And once upon a time, the king of world was stopped by king of forest. Do you know that quotation has come into newspaper once? The king of world was stopped by king of forest.
No, sir, I have not heard of this quotation.
Okay, Bill Clinton once visited, and then he was stopped in the middle by the tiger. So king of world was stopped by king of forest. Ranthambore. Why Ranthambore? The tigers are very easily. You can see the tigers directly, but
yes,
in general, in other forests or dense forests, we cannot see. Why in Ranthambore so easy to watch them and not in other areas? What is the reason?
Sir, I think the Ranthambore has the right environment and the right habitat which are preferred by the tigers. So it does not have very dense vegetation. It has open grasses, and the temperature, the annual range of temperature is also favorable for the tigers. It does not gets too hot or too cold. So I think the major reason is the large area and the conducive habitat of the
and what is the source of water over there?
Ecosystem in Ranthambore.
What is the source of water in Ranthambore?
In Ranthambore, the source of water is there are many artificial and natural ponds So some ponds are artificially created by the forest department, and a few lakes are also there. For example, one Surwal Lake is famous, which provides water for the wildlife of the area.
Okay. Rajasthan is degraded by mining, and that too by degraded mining, and its entire topography has changed. Why people are not adopting the proper technologies or sustainable technologies to mine that area and leave whatever is possible from other areas than the Rajasthan?
Sir, one of the reason of a large number of mining in Rajasthan is because across its diagonal length, it has Aravlis, which are very good source of mines. Now, despite although Supreme Court has banned commercial mining, illegal mining in the region, but a lot of people still practice unsustainable mining because of mainly the profit reasons and the nexus which they have created in itself. So they are just not ready to comply with the law for monetary reasons, and I think of this reason is the major reason.
Aravali ranges are parallel to monsoon ranges, monsoon winds ranges, but somewhere they are broken in between Aravali ranges. They are broken to parts. What do you think that is good for the monsoon winds, so that there can be rains in between these two, in between these mounts of the Aravali ranges? Is it beneficial or no?
Sir, I think it is beneficial because the orientation of Aravallis is parallel to the monsoon winds. So if they do not break, then there would be very less rainfall in the Rajasthan. So for higher rainfall in the region and to get enough water, I think breaking of winds is important because it brings higher rainfall in the region.
It is archaeologically, it is said that Saraswati river flows in somewhere in between Rajasthan. Is it true?
Sir, as far as I know, that Saraswati river is a mythological river and is not an actual river. So I do not have much information beyond this about the Saraswati river.
Okay. Khejdi is a major plant over there, and neem is also there. But khejdi is treated as the state tree, whereas neem have more uses, number of trees are more. Why khejdi is taken as the state tree than the over neem?
The khejdi tree, the primary reason is because of its conservation history. So in Jodhpur in 1700s, there was a movement by the women of Khejrali village who tried to protect khejdi trees from cutting by the Raja of Jodhpur. So from that, it got a lot of popularity and enthusiasm by all the conservationists. So in memorizing that event and in honoring that event, the government has declared khejdi tree as the state tree.
But there is some other reason to make it as a Rajasthan tree.
Sir, other reasons are definitely there. For instance, khejdi tree provides a lot of fodder to the animals, so it helps the pastoralists. Then it also offers a special sangri fruit, which is used in cooking dishes. So it supports a lot of livelihood. It provides shade, and it is present in abundance. So because of all of these reasons, it is the state tree of the.
Every part of it is useful one, and it is the only tree which is found in the deserts also, whereas neem can be found somewhere else also. So anything which is being inhabited or which makes the deserts habitated, that is the reason that it is okay. Yeah, I think you are from mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering is not playing an important role in the Indian development. They are exporting mechanical engineers, and we are not using the mechanics properly in India, despite having the budget also there, the minerals also there, the mechanical engineers also there, and everything is there, but we are not using the full potential of mechanical engineers in India.
Sir, I do not completely agree with it because there are a lot of manufacturing industries. For For instance, in the automobile sector, the Mahindra, the Tata Motors, in the two-wheeler sector, the Hero Honda. So they have dominated the Indian industry and the automobile market, and they comprises a large number of mechanical engineering graduates from the India. And apart from automobile industry, also in the other manufacturing plants, I think some mechanical engineers are in great demand and playing huge utility.
But see, Japan is importing our raw material also, and Japan is importing our mechanical engineer also. They make the final products and give it back to us by our own mechanical engineers. How far this statement is true?
Sir, the statement is true. Basically, Japan is important automotive parts from the MSMEs in India, assembling it and then selling the car. So I do agree that it's a part of the supply chain, but the supply chain itself is creating a lot of employment within India in terms of small, micro and small medium enterprises.
So it means they don't compromise with the quality. That's all. And we even produce the lower quality material, also the best quality material. Japan doesn't produce the low quality material. That's it. Okay, Professor sir.
Ji, thank you, Dr. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Pranav, you're a mechanical engineer from IIT Mumbai.
Yes, sir.
And you worked somewhere after that, after BTech?
Yes, I worked for 2 years, 1 year in an analytical consultancy firm and 1 year with the government of Haryana in Sonipat.
What is your profile in Sonipat? What kind of work which you were doing?
Yes, sir. So I was posted as a fellow in the Sonipat with the mandate of assisting the district administration in delivery of services and doing one pilot project.
What was the project about?
Sir, I did a pilot on solid waste management, where I work on segregation of waste at source.
Okay, different grades. Okay. And
Yes,
was there any technology involved in this, or just about in terms of management of that waste?
Sir, we utilized the simple composting technique in which we created ground pits and filled the wet waste into the pits and supplied some earthworms and the manure so as to create the compost. So although there were mechanical machines as well to create the compost, but in the initial phase, we utilized on the composting pits.
Okay. Is it a government-sponsored project?
Yeah, sir.
And what is the duration of the pilot project?
Sir, the duration was not fixed, but I worked on the project for 9 months. And when my fellowship completed, the next fellow continued the project.
Okay, so it was a continuing project. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What is your CAD system of choice and why? CAD,
Sir,
CAD.
CAD system. So I'm not able to recall at the moment, but I think it is related to automotive manufacturing.
No, it is computer-aided design.
Yes, sir. So I'm not able to recall the concept at the moment, but it is kind of related to, we do the programming in the computer about the movement of the machine. We define the trajectory.
No,
and
these are standalone software systems.
Yes, sir. I have not worked on the software.
CAD at all. You are not in the campus also. You are not sensitized about these such softwares.
Sir, as far as I remember, I think there was one lab for a short duration, but I'm not able to recall.
Doesn't matter. It's okay. You're as a mechanical engineer. If you were to explain a complex design to a non-technical person,
Yes.
how would you go about it? You can take a specific example.
Okay. Sir, to explain, I would break down into the application of that component and how does it achieve to pursue that application. For instance, if I have to give an example, I would take the example of 3D printing. So the application is that it can manufacture any three-dimensional object for instance, let's say artificial tree. Now, how does it do it? So it can be visualized as a nozzle in which we have filled some solid ink, and we define the trajectory of the tree
A
in
nozzle
the
and trajectory is something which the non-technical person may not be able to comprehend.
yes, sir. So to further break down it, we can assume it as a pen which is filled with an ink. Now, when we move the pen on a definite trajectory, the ink surfaces in a two-dimensional manner. Now, when we overlap it in the vertical direction, so we get a three-dimensional picture. And yes, sir, we get a three-dimensional object. So the analogy is pen, ink, and the trajectory in 3 dimensions.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think you need to improve on that.
I'll do that, sir.
Yeah. Explain how hydraulic works in a machine.
Yes, sir.
And again, you can take an example.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think hydraulics play an important role in the transmission of forces. So hydraulics uses some sort of fluid, which may be oil or water, and that fuel transmits power to a moving body. Now, the example could be a simple cylinder piston arrangement in which we fill fuel or petrol, and when it is moved with the piston assembly, it transmits power to the piston. Uh, yes, sir. So it is basically used for transmission of power.
Okay. It's not clear. First is liquid and then suddenly power comes in.
Sir, I'll take a different example.
Okay.
So hydraulics could be used in the weightlifting. So mechanical engineering requires a lot of heavy lifting. So if we take two arms, one has smaller area and one has larger area, and if we place, let's say, the car on the larger area and we want to uplift it, then we use the concept of hydraulics. We fill the fluid in the both the pipes and exert pressure from the lower area side. So the fluid transmits this pressure to the larger area size and helps in the uplifting of car.
All right. All right. What is the difference between a strut and a column? Strut and a column.
Sir, as far as I know, the column has a higher length as compared to the strut. So one difference which I can think of is the height or the length of strut and column. So strut has smaller length and higher complexure.
Okay. That's it.
So definitely there are more reasons, but currently I'm able to recall only this difference.
No, what is, columns are, as you all know, are vertical in nature and they tend to take vertical loads.
Yes, sir.
Right? Whereas struts can be diagonal and they typically take axial loads. Right?
Yes.
So that is the fundamental difference between strut and a column, right? Okay. To increase corrosion resistance of steel, which elements are added?
Which elements are added to increase? Okay.
Steel to make it more corrosion resistant.
Yes, sir, I can currently recall of tungsten, chromium, and vanadium. So they have high
chromium
corrosion.
and vanadium.
Yes.
These are added. Any idea about the percentage composition of tungsten and chromium and also vanadium?
I remember of one steel which has a composition of 18% tungsten, around 5 to 6% chromium, and around 1% vanadium. So 18, 6, 1. I'm not sure, but these are the order in which they are mixed.
First of all, tungsten and vanadium are not added to steel for any reason. A. B. It must be titanium. to make it, that fundamentally doesn't add to the corrosion properties, but to other characteristics. The elements which are added to steel are nickel and chromium. And that's what gives it the name to stainless steel, the most basic form of stainless steel, 18.8. 18 nickel, 8%, and 18% nickel, and chromium is 8%. And that is fundamentally the reason to provide, basically by adding these elements, you're making the steel more resistant. Otherwise, rusting takes place and corrosion occurs. Right? Okay. The last question to around mechanical engineering is, do you recall second law of thermodynamics?
Yes, sir.
Can you articulate it?
Yes, sir. The main concept of second law is about the direction of a reaction. So there are two statements. One is the Calvin-Klein statement, and the second is Clausius statement, which explains the second law. So I'll say the Calvin-Klein statement. It says that a single reservoir cannot result in work. So we need at least two reservoirs in order to get work out of a thermodynamic system.
What happens to entropy?
Yes, sir. The entropy can only increase or remains constant. It cannot decrease in any reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So only those reactions occur.
It's not a reaction, it's a closed system. Closed system.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes. Okay.
All right. Now, one last question. What, in your opinion, is the sociological reason behind the change from coalition politics to coalition era to mandate politics? That means majority politics. So let me rephrase and re-articulate my question is that what could be the sociological reasons behind the change from coalition era to mandate politics? In the last two terms, we will be having party with a majority to rule the responsible for government. Earlier on, it was coalition era. So what could be the reason?
Sir, I'm not sure of the exact reason, but I think some of the reasons were that because of the coalition politics, there was a little bit of instability in the formation of government, which was resulting in delays in the implementation of projects. And
But that's not social. That's not social reason.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think that was the time before the economic reforms, and sociologically, we were struggling in terms of our development indicators, be it the level of education, the literacy rate, the healthcare indicators. And because of that, the common people were not have a quality life. So I think in the subsequent elections, they voted to the majority party so that faster decision making could take place for their benefits, for their livelihoods, education, and health. I'm not sure, but I think this could be the reason.
Thank you. Over to Singh Saab.
Pranav,
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon. You are from Jaipur, but you went to Kota for your +2, right?
Yes, sir. I went to Kota.
Must be related to your preparation
For
for
IT
IIT.
change. Yes.
So tell me, what is the impact of coaching in the intellectual development or intellectual development of students or kids?
Sir, I think coaching has a positive as well as a negative impact. So the positive impact is that they impart some sort of discipline in the student with a lot of rigorous practice. So when he solves large number of similar problems, the concept gets clarified. But the negative impact is that it mechanizes the whole process of learning. So it hampers the creative and critical thinking aspects of the student. So these are the two aspects. But overall, I think it creates a lot of stress into the lives of students because of competition and over exertion.
So, since you are from Rajasthan, what is the state bird of Rajasthan?
Yes, it's a great Indian bustard.
Now, it is endangered species right now. Right?
Yes, sir. It is also known as Godawan, which is critical endangered.
Behind this bird being critically endangered.
Yes, sir. Uh, sir, I could not hear the question.
What is the reason behind this bird becoming endangered?
Yes, sir. So some of the reasons are the habitat degradation. It largely prefers, it's a large bird, so it prefers open area and semi-grassland type of habitat. But because of the rise in population and successive infrastructure development, there was degradation of its habitat. The other reason was in the pre-independence era, there was a lot of hunting activities performed by the local Maharajas, which declined the population. And the current, more recent reasons are the above ground electrical wires. So these birds cannot see in front of them because they have sideways eyeballs. So when they run, they used to collide with the wires and in the process gets killed.
Now, recently it is observed that amount of rain has increased in Rajasthan. How high rain in Rajasthan is bad for India and for Rajasthan as well?
Yes, sir. So for Rajasthan, the reason is bad because there are not enough structures to store the water. So because the Rajasthan is an arid structure, so there are not a lot of water harvesting structures. And when it's rain, when the rainfall is higher, so the river's capacity increases beyond its carrying capacity, which results in flooding, which is currently happening in some of the districts of Rajasthan. And how it would be bad for India, this I'm not able to think of, sir, because again, flooding in Rajasthan, and Rajasthan is also an important part of
It's
India.
bad for India. I mean, don't think. If you don't know, you say no. You don't know. You can't think here.
Okay, sir, I'm not aware of this.
Now, if you are asked to give a suggestion for industrial development in Rajasthan, what exactly would you suggest?
Sir, I would suggest setting up of MSMEs throughout the state, which can develop a lot of component parts in the overall manufacturing. And if I would have to say about a particular industry, then I would recommend the automotive industry because of its close proximity with the Delhi NCR region and the DMIC passing through the Rajasthan.
See, 3 states in North America, big states rather, Canada, US, Mexico. All 3 have got different culture, different political system, and different economic development.
Yes,
Homogeneous land, I mean, like, but then different development. What could be the reason behind that? How do you see that?
so I think the government and the kind of economic freedom it offers plays a lot of role in long-term economic development. So the United States, the government pushed for the free market economy, which resulted in setting up a lot of private sector industry, which thrived the economic and industrial development. And as far as I know, sir, Canada is also has a comparable economy and doing great in terms of growth. So if I have to say the reasons, I think it's the government and its policies with respect to the participation of private sectors in the economy.
Do you think that the successive government has followed the same suit while not getting influenced by uh, each other.
They are neighbors, so the trade is influenced by each other. So based on what is the situation at the border in terms of migration of goods and people, and it does affect the regional economy. But I
What
do
is the
not have
reason behind?
much clarity.
Yeah. What is the reason behind UK deciding to leave EU? What do you call a Brexit? What is the reason behind Brexit?
Yes, sir. So the people of the EU felt, Britain felt that they are contributing much more to the grouping uh, in terms of its economy, but deriving lesser benefits out of it. So the perception was that if the Britain was a single entity, it would get higher economic prospects, and therefore it decided to get out of the EU.
But if you have noticed that all the companies of Britain, per se, if I give a specific example of Jaguar Land Rover, their share prices went down and also their profitability immediately after Brexit. Now, how do you explain that?
Yes, sir. The immediate fall in share prices and profits could be explained as the change in the course of businesses, which would be done with the British firms. So after the Brexit, it is in a transitional zone, and the Britain has investments from all over the world. So there would be uncertainty about the visa policies, about the rules of origin, about the movement of goods inside and outside of Britain. So I think because of this short-term uncertainty and the lack of clarity about the government stance, there was dip in profitability and share price.
Do you follow Olympics?
Yes, sir.
There
A
is no
little.
Russia this time in Olympics. What is the reason behind that?
I'm not sure, sir. I do not know.
Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, Pranav,
Yes, sir.
you are confident and good in articulation. However, little details about your state, NCR, and current events that need to be brushed up properly. Subject applied part of the subject still that also need to be put into proper usage. Yeah. Sir, Professor, sir.
Anyway, Pranav, your background certainly raises expectations. There were flashes of your living up to those expectations in terms of your replies. Your responses were by far satisfactory, but then the expectations are high. Initially, my questions around mechanical engineering, some of these you had fielded very nicely, very basic questions, and it was expected from somebody from IIT to do it. However, very simple questions, you found them challenging. And many times what happens is that we in our just to possess and with our base of well informed on certain topics, the simpler ones get kind of don't get the attention which they so point is that your replies were all right, your articulation was good as expressed by Chairman Saab. You're a good communicator, you're calm personality, you're pleasant, and these are all positives which go with you. However, a few suggestions is that even though when you knew about things which are pretty apparent, you kind of gave an impression that you were struggling with your answers. These were there somewhere down the line, here and there, and you were picking up pockets to really put things together. So that particular smoothness in your delivery of your replies was somewhere missing, and that is what probably in the ultimate analysis make a lot of difference. Okay, so though it is expected that you will certainly keep on working on your domain knowledge across areas, you will definitely keep assimilating more information to increase your confidence level, which is all right at the moment. But I feel that without disturbing much on your communication style, this is something which you need to work out. Uh, when is your interview, you said?
The 21st September.
So it's long way to go. You are probably going to be the last one of the last ones
Second
to.
last day.
Is that the
Yes.
last day?
Second last day.
Second last day. When is the last day?
22nd.
22nd, of course. All right. Yeah, because there could be gaps also. That's why I asked you. So anyway, it is in consecutiveness. So point it is, and by that time, probably most of the members will also be fatigued mentally,
Yes, sir.
right? They will probably exhaust their questions also, if I may say so. That could be advantage. But for
Disadvantage
you,
too.
the
Disadvantage too, that average marks.
yeah,
For me.
that's right. In the later part, they just want to get over with a job.
Mm.
So therefore,
Both the
the only
sides.
thing is, how would
How
you
should I
like to
make
make a
sure,
difference?
Yes, sir. How should I make the difference?
In the sense that you have to prep is the main thing. Preparation is the main thing.
Yeah.
Maintain your enthusiasm level. Today, from today onwards, you start visualizing that you're going to be really give a power-packed performance on that day, whatever may be the state of. In fact, you have to draw them out,
Got it.
right, from that zone of their mental saturation, maybe. And that will call for innovative ways of how do it's all about grabbing the attention,
Yes, sir.
Pranav. And therefore, and since time is on our side, therefore, please, work out a strategy, well thought of strategy, so that you are able to, what kind of words you're going to be using. Same thing, put in a different way, can make all the difference, right?
Got
Same information packaged differently can make all the difference. So these are the areas probably you need to really look at. Across areas, identify salient, critical events or issues, right? And most importantly, please try to give an impression that you are your own person. You have an independent mind and you have certain unique opinions of, which are typically belonging to you only. And this is where, because time is with you, therefore I'm suggesting that you please start working on these lines. And I'm sure with the kind of background which you have, you'll be able to work it out. You have tremendous potential. All you have to do is to operationalize it. Okay? So all the very best to you. Thank you.
Pranav,
Yes, sir.
you had mechanical in your mains, right?
Yes, sir.
How come you are unable to give answers to basic questions like hydraulics and all? Those are quite basic questions, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, this was I could not revise.
See,
after
if
the-
unfortunately they ask questions related to mechanical, and if you don't answer, you're going to lose marks. You know what? We don't. We usually we don't use water in hydraulic machines. What is the use of hydraulics? Why hydraulics is used? Why not mechanical equipment? Because we try to multiply and always whenever we use gear, it gives a step. There's always a step in power delivery.
Yes, sir.
Right? When we want a linear transmission of power, we always use hydraulics. It's the basic thing, which is the first thing that is taught. When we are taught mechanical and hydraulics in mechanical engineering, this is the first thing which is taught. Why hydraulics? For the linear transmission of power.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'll revise mechanical. I agree, I'm weak in mechanical.
See, I tell you something. See what happens. Your interview is going to be on second last day. Now, let me ask you let me take a very simple question, right? What exactly would you do to develop Rajasthan? Industrial development in Rajasthan. Right? Now, the same guy would ask this question on the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, second last day. You have to understand what is going to happen. First day, some candidate would give answer. If the panelists like it, they'll give marks. Second day, somebody else comes and gives a better answer. They'll give more marks. Third day comes, the third guy comes and gives really good answer and really bamboozle the board, and the board is really very happy. Highest marks. Now, see,
The
answers are dimensions are limited, right? Now, somebody must have peaked. And after that, even if you peak, you are a repeat. You understand that? So I went to the board on third day and gave the best answer. You go to the board on the second last day, you give the same answer, but then you're a repeat. You're a repeat. You're not the best. You're the repeat. I was the best. I went on the third day. So what exactly, how exactly can you be different? Because answer cannot be, everybody cannot innovate and give something, you cannot bring rabbit out of the pocket, right? So how exactly can you be different? You can be different by the way you present things. Now that presentation cannot happen at that particular moment in the interview. See what was happening with you. See, this is going to be your first interview, right?
Yes, sir.
There would be 5 members. One person would be psychoanalyst also, right? So that guy is going to notice your body language, body movement. Now, every question that I asked, you were thinking. Did you notice that you were looking at the right corner up?
Yes, sir.
You notice that? No, every time you were like, So when you look at the right corner and then you answer, that means you're thinking there itself, and then you're planning answer and giving. When you look down and then answer, that means you're articulating. You know this, but you are articulating there. Right? These are the basic language things.
Sir, but
so you were trying to frame answer. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Tell me.
There might be some questions which I might not have prepared, and I would have to think at that moment. So,
right.
For instance,
but then, yeah, agreed. But then there are areas. See, this is a mock interview. This is not the main interview. This is a mock interview. I need to see your preparation level also. Those guys are not going to check your preparation level. They are not bothered about that, right? But I am bothered whether you're well prepared or not. Whether you are thinking about the question here in interview, or have you prepared something? So right now, all I can say that, especially about Rajasthan, see, I asked you questions related to America. I asked you questions related to any other things also. That's fine. But when I'm asking something related to Rajasthan and you're thinking what should be done, that means you have not given enough thought to it. That also shows your lack of awareness about your environment. See, every day you're residing in Rajasthan, you have gone to Kota, you must have gone to other places in Rajasthan. And that means you have not, you didn't try to look at your environment and things around you. That also shows that you're interested in studies, but you're not aware about the environment. Like you said you said DMIC, right?
Yes, sir.
But you need to understand why DMIC. Because it's related to supply chain. It's very much related to supply chain. And supply chain doesn't flow from Delhi to Mumbai. It comes from Mumbai to Delhi. You understand that? Think about supply chain. You must have, there must be a paper in mechanical engineering also. Supply chain doesn't flow from north to south. It goes from south to north. You get the raw material and then you move up, right? And that's why this DMIC is formed. What all industries are there in DMIC? So that is taken that you know what is there. What extra can you add? That is important, right? Saying that DMIC is there is not, I mean, that is not expected out of it. That was expected in mains, not in an interview. What extra can be done, right? Understand?
Yes, sir. So solution I have to tell.
Having the content is important for you first. You cannot afford to create content in interview. So see, let me put it this way. There is a room filled of coins, right? You're given 15 minutes, go and grab the coin. You cannot afford to choose coins there. You need to grab. So when you are going inside the room, you must know which kind of coin is 5 rupee coin, which kind of coin is 10 rupee coin, and which kind of coin is 1 rupee coin. Your focus should be on a 10 rupee coin. So for that, the awareness is important. The content should be ready. Then only you can frame answer there. You cannot afford to frame answer here. Understand that? Prepare about Rajasthan. Prepare about your and prepare about your DAF also.
Yes.
Right?
So with respect to preparation, I'll make it stronger. But let's say even after the preparation, the same industrial question would get asked, and I would have the same preparation level. So what should I have done? I should have thought in the moment, or I should have simply said that I'm not able to recall the solutions right now. So
You cannot afford to say that. You cannot afford to say that.
I have to think.
You cannot afford to say that. Any question related to Rajasthan, you cannot afford to say that I don't know, or I cannot think about anything. That shows your, that puts you in a very poor light.
Okay.
You
So I
must
have
be
to
very
adjust
sure
my-
about Rajasthan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. But you cannot, frame answer there. That should be there, yeah. And they should know that they should feel that, yeah, this guy is well prepared about Rajasthan.
Mm.
He was well aware, right?
Yeah, that's very good.
Chalo, best of luck.
And it should not be that you have prepared for Rajasthan. You must know everything about Rajasthan in general. That is, it is on the finger that you know details of the Rajasthan. You need not to say that you have to prepare. So their thinking cannot be allowed, at least for Rajasthan. Okay. And you can have one or two more mock, but prepare properly. That is more important at your.
Prepare your DAF and Rajasthan.
Yeah,
It's very important.
Very, very. दो part
History, geography, economy, society, everything related to Rajasthan.
About Rajasthan, yes. और दूसरा यह है कि either you explain in a different same thing in different way. That is required from you because it is last. Okay, good luck.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civilsdaily.